Hi everyone, you're welcome to my Professor Note. This is Bhupesh Sharma. So here in this video, we are going to talk about we are covering the novel unit questions from the UGC NET 2021 exam. Okay, so here we'll be knowing that how many questions were asked, what are the novel that you need to read for your next attempt. All right, so let's start the video. And if you have not subscribed to the channel, so make sure you subscribe it, share the video with other people so we can reach more and more people and can share the right information with them so they can get their net in a very first go. All right. So here we have the very first question from the Charles Dickens. Right. So this is your British literature. So don't you think that the novel is only the British literature? We have here the world literature, and we will be circling all those literature, the writers and their works here. We have the Charles Dickens here. For all the newcomers, you know that Charles Dickens is the Victorian novelist. Besides him, you must know that what are the other important writer of that age, like George Eliot, Thackeray, right, and all of these. So here we have the question that who among the following characters appear as a ghost? So which of the following character appear as a ghost? Here we have the characters, different characters from the different novel. The very first is the Daniel Quilp. So Daniel Quilp appear as an antagonist in his novel called The Old Curiosity Shop. Curiosity Shop, the Old Curiosity Shop, which was published in the 1851. Next, we have the Dora Spenlow. So make sure you read this novel, right? Dora Spenlow. So Dora Spenlow appear in the David Copperfield. David Copperfield. So David Copperfield is his novel, right? Which was published in the 1850. Then we have the Esther Summerson. Esther Summerson is the only feminine character who appear as a narrator in the Charles Dickens novel. Right? She was a she is the daughter of the Lady Dedlock, right? In the novel called The Bleak House, which was published in the 1853, which is about a legal case happening there from a really long time, which was an attack on the court and the legal actions of the United Kingdom of the Britain by the Charles Dickens. Jarndyce and Jarndyce, that was the case there. So this is a character we meet in the Bleak House, right? And none of these characters appear as a ghost. Then we have the Jacob Marley. Jacob Marley appear in the Christmas Carol, right? In the Christmas Carol, this character appear as a ghost to show his miser friend the future of him. That if he will keep doing the similar thing which he did, remaining miser, not giving, not sharing with the people, he will have the same dark future. So this is where we meet the this ghost character. So Jacob Marley is the ghost character in the Charles Dickens novels. So make sure you read Charles Dickens and his novels here. Then we have the Virginia Woolf. Virginia Woolf Orlando opens in 1588. Okay, so this is a novel by the Virginia Woolf, which was published in the 1928. Here we have a character which goes under the transformation of gender, right? Born as a man and died as a woman, right? His body got transformed, and he also published a novel, and he also met the Alexander Pope in this novel. Right, so there are some of the things that you have to keep in your mind. It's a great work of Virginia Woolf because she wanted to create a society where men and women are living in harmony. She wanted to have an experience, or give her readers an experience that what does it feel like a man and what does it feel like to be a woman. So that is the reason there is a character who experiences both the genders. So the book which was published by him, by her, was The Oak Tree in 1928, and that's when this novel, and the last dialogue, it's a goose, it's a wild goose, right? So make sure you read Virginia Woolf's all the novel, right? Her Virginia, her Mrs. Dalloway, her Orlando, the Lighthouse, the Wave, Room of One's Own. All of these are your Jacob's Room. So these 5 to 6 novels are very important from your exam perspective. Then we have which of the following are novels by Ian McEwan. right? Ian McEwan we have here, writer. So how many and which of these following books he has published? We have Atonement. Atonement tells a story of the Tellis, the girl here. She has she did the misinterpretation of the character of Robbie, right? She thought that this character is not good for her sister Cecilia, and she accused him as a rapist of her cousin Lola, even though Lola gets married later with the rapist who was the actual rapist of her. So there are some misunderstanding in this Atonement novel. It is a great novel. Make sure you check out its publishing date and give it in the comment section, because most of you just be watching this video and will put no effort into studying. So make sure you at least go back and check out its publishing date. The Man with the Two Left Feet is a book published by the P. Woodson, right? uh, so make sure you read this novel too. This is not by the Ian McEwan, so here we till now we have only one novel by him. The Child Time, we have a Kate, a child who got kidnapped, and its aftermath, that how it bring the gap between her parents, right? How their life and their relationship got disrupted. And Child in Time is published by the Ian McEwan, so here we have the second novel by him, and make sure you check out its publishing date too, and what this novel is. Make sure you read that, right? I think I should not be always here in the position like this giving all these publishing date, because I have to make sure that you are also putting yourself some efforts into it. The moment you know the dates yourself, the moment you write them down on the paper, you remember them for a long period of time. And this is what my purpose here, right? Not to entertain you, but to push you to your limits so you can get what you want. The Rachel Papers, Martin M.S., right? Martin M.S. is the one who have published this work or written this work. So here we have these two novels by the Ian McEwan. Then let's come here. Another question we have, the match the following list. Bankim Chandra Chatterjee, Sahitya Samrat of Bengal, Emperor of Literature. He has published the Anandamath. We know Anandamath it was published in English as the Abbey of Bliss. He is also composer of the Vande Mataram. He has written this work called Raj Mohan's Wife in the 1864. Mulk Rajanand, very famous for portraying the poor section, the lower section of the traditional Indian society in his novels. Untouchable, he has published in the 1935. Coolie also got published. He has published in 1936. There is another novel which he has published in the 1937. So make sure you check out this novel and write down it in the comment section below. Panch Gauri Khan. We didn't know any of these characters for sure. We didn't know any of these characters, right? We didn't know any of these writers. Even Google don't have the enough information about them. But he has published The Revelation of the Orderly, published in the 1866. They are the pre-independence writers here. The only person who can know about these names is the one who is all the time in the connection of the academics, doing his research or joining the conferences, joining the seminars. And this is where you come across all these writers and their writing. And Kamala Sathyanandan, stories from Indian Christian life, right? But the most important authors we have here that we can predict that they will be again asked in our upcoming exam, that is Bankim Chandra Chatterjee. So make sure you read his works and about him, and Mulk Raj Anand. Very, very important. Come to the second one here. C. No Casey, the Irish writer, very famous from his Dublin trilogy, right? In his Dublin trilogy, the very first work of him is The Shadow of the Gunman, published in the 1923, that book. Then we have the Juno and the Pickwick, published in the 1924. Then we have The Plough and the Stars, that is the third work of his Dublin trilogy, published in the 1926. So make sure you read his Dublin trilogy, very important work. Dylan Thomas, very famous for his novel, for his poem called Do Not Go Gentle Into That Good Night. And his important work, it is the Under Milkwood. It is the radio drama published in the 1954. Terence Rattigan, homosexual person, and his life was really tough because he was unable to express his feelings and a built-in relationship with the similar gender guy, because in a society the way we live, I mean, this is not appropriate thing to do. So his sexual frustration was always a main theme of his works. His work, which he has published, is the Winslow Boy. Winslow Boy is a play about the accusation on its protagonist, the Robbie Winslow. He was charged and accused with the theft of the 5 shillings postal order. And then his father effort is shown in the novel, in this play, that how he tried really hard to prove him innocent. Right, so this is what this novel about. We have Arnold Wesker. Arnold Wesker is very famous for his Wesker's trilogy, right? And Wesker's trilogy's very first work is the Chicken Soup and Barley. Second one is the Roots, published in the 1959. Roots. Then we have I Am Talking About Jerusalem, published in the 1962. The third work from the Wesker's trilogy, right? So make sure you check out all of them. Then we have James Singh. James Singh is very famous for his work called The Riders, right? It is known as the one-act tragedy set in the Aran Islands. Another work is which is very famous is The Playboy of the Western World, right? You should know that. Then we have this, as you can say, it's one of the minor work, because most of the time we haven't read any work of this kind. uh, I mean, in our syllabus, in your MAs and BAs. So when you start waiting for your net examination, so you have to search for all the work of the writer, which are really famous. And he is from the Renaissance period, of the Irish Renaissance period, and they have built the theatre in the Ireland. What was the name of the theatre which he built with the W.B. Yeats, right? And the one another person, third one was a feminine person. Make sure you give her name and the name of the theatre which they built in Ireland. In the Shadow of Glen is a work which he has written. Okay, now let's move further. Here we have the another question. Here you again have to match. So all these works are very important, maybe because what they can ask, they can put and comprehension on that novel and can form questions out of it, like we will get a one question of that kind. Here we have the paragraph from the Thomas Hardy's test of the tuberculous, and then the questions are being formed. So that kind of questions will be asked. The characters will be asked. Their dates will be asked. Right. This is what you are being asked. So Winston Smith is a character. Here we have the novels. Sons and Lovers, the very first novel we have, which just come up with the Oedipus complex theme. Right, after it was invented by the Sigmund Freud, even though that theme existed before that, that was used in the Greek drama, we know that. So Sons and Lovers is a novel published in the 1913, later on by the D.H. Lawrence. Later on he came up with the sequence like The Rainbow 1915 and The Woman in Love, right? So make sure you read all these novels too. Paul Morrell was the name, or was the original title of this novel, do you know? It is not about the original title, but Paul Morrell is the character there in this novel. On the basis of that, we are making these connection as a character and the novels. Then we have the Winston Smith. So Winston Smith appears in the 1984 book, which published in the 1949, a dystopian novel which talks about dystopian novel means which talks about the sick society, which talks about the sick society, which talks about the sick society. 1949, on the way the people suffering from injustice, a lot of bad things are happening. So this is a kind of society is being depicted there, and Winston Smith is the character. So other themes we have here like the thought crime, newspeak, 2 + 2 = 5, Big Brother. All these terminologies are used in this novel. We have the whiskey priest. My sound may sound really uninteresting to you. Does it? No, it should not. Whiskey Priest. Uh, Whiskey Priest is a character we have in the Power and the Glory. Power and the Glory. Power and the Glory was published as a labyrinthine ways in the United States. Then we have the Leopold Bloom. Leopold Bloom is a character which appears in Ulysses, the novel, a greatest modernist novel, published in the 1922. So Leopold Bloom's keep wondering out there because he don't want to get embarrassed seeing his wife Molly Bloom is sleeping with someone else. Such a kind of characters we have here. Paul Penny Feather is a character who was caught running without pajamas in the Oxford courtyard after drinking some wine. And this character appeared in The Decline and Fall, written by the Evelyn Waugh, 1928. Make sure you read other novels by him too. Then we have, which of these does Meenakshi Mukherjee? We have read the name, and there's one work which is very famous by her, not this early Indian English novel. All right, and this novel was published in the 2002, but she has also written a one other work which is very famous. So make sure you search Meenakshi Mukherjee on Google and check out her work. So in this work, which she had written, early Indian English novel, here it consists 14 essays, and they here um, the work of the uh, early early Indian novels, early Indian English novels are being seen from historian and literary critics point of view, that and they wanted to eradicate this assumption which is there, that the most of the idea of these novels are coming from the Western world, and this readership was the pan-Indian readership and the localized Indian readership. That was the target readership of this novel here. Like we do not have enough information about these works. So like as I said earlier, that if you want to have more information about these novelists and about these novels and works, you have to join, take part in conferences, research works on Indian literature. Only then you come across such a works. Then we have here, which of these constitute the preoccupation, the protagonist by Mayu Chatterjee? This is the second question, I think. This is the third question, which is related to the Indian literature. As we have the earlier one where we have to match the authors with their work, like your Raja Ram Mohan Rai, right? Like your Bankim Chandra Chatterjee, his Raj Mohan's wife. That is the one for first question. Then we have the Meenakshi Mukherjee is the second question, right? Meenakshi Mukherjee is the second question. Third one we have the Mayu Chatterjee, right? Unknown writers for Indian, most of the Indian English literatures readers or Indian English literature students. So this is the third question which is being asked from the Indian literature here. So he has written this work called the English August, right? English August is a novel about the Agastya, a character here. Upmai Chatterjee was a civil servant. He was a civil servant, and his character in the English August is his mind is filled with all of his thoughts of, and always just inclined towards the things like marijuana, masturbation, and reading the meditation by the Marcus Aurelius. So these are the two things he keeps himself involved in. Right, so make sure you at least take a look at his summary if you find it anywhere, and I'll also be providing it on my Telegram channel. And make sure you get access to the point notes by MyProfessorNote, right? These are only the 450 pages it consists, and you have to go here. I give you 16 files. It covers all your 10 units. They are really helpful, and I also give you a strategy which makes sure that you get your net in a very first go. So make sure you buy these notes. These are provided by the My Professor Notes, and if you want to get access to them, I have given my contact below in the description box. Here I can again give it to you, 9625101499. You can contact me on the number, and I'll let you have access to these notes there. Which of these best describes Shyam Selvarurai's novel Funny Boy? 1994 published novel by the Shyam Selvadurai, Sri Lankan writer. Now your world literature is coming under circle. Like novels, works are being asked from everywhere. Works are being asked from everywhere. It was a coming of age novel, Funny Boy. right? Funny boy, a gay person here. Maybe it is a derogatory remark. Homosexual, interested in the similar gender person. This is what this novel is about, like society's perspective towards him or the way he sees society. So it is a coming of age novel, even though there is a movie on it. Then we have choose the right chronological sequence of the publication of the following book. Margaret Atwood dystopian novel, published in the 1985. Alice Walker Color Purple shows the unheard story, trying to bring out the unheard story of the black American women's, the abuses and the pain and the beating that they bear. These stories are unheard, they are given nowhere in the history. So she works to bring them to her readers. 1882. Doris Lessing, The Golden Book. Anna Wolf is a character we have here who write these five novels. Golden Notebook is a five book where she does the conclusion. 1962 is the publishing date of this. Toni Morrison, Bluest Eye, again about a black women, that the plight of them. This is what she has articulated in this novel, 1970, published by Toni Morrison. Very important work. And Bluest Eye. Beloved is amazing novel, so make sure you read that novel too, by Toni Morrison. Which among the following are the work of the George Gissing, another Victorian writer we have here? New Grub Street. So this is a novel published in the 1891. Annie's Grace is a book by the Annie Bronte, Bronte's sister, published in the 1847. Odd Women talks about the woman that and how they're living their life in a society, you know, how their life is. Published in the 1893 by the George Gissing. So these are the two novels we have here by George Gissing. The first one is this, second one is this. Then we have the Mary Barton. Elizabeth Gaskell is the one who published the novel in the 1848. And make sure yourself you check out its date and write down in the comment section below. Then we have how did the sport with the test ended. So there was a comprehension given, right? Out of these, I took these questions. I didn't mention the comprehension here. You can take a look of it on my website, myprofessornote.com. myprofessornote.com. This is where you get this. I have uploaded there this question paper of 2021 unit wise. So on my website, My Professor Note, you will get it. She was hanged. This is how the play ends. This is how the play of her life ends. She was hanged. Tess of the Duber Willis, published in the 1891. She also gave a birth to a baby who died. Name was a sorrow. So make sure you remember this too. And make sure you read its summary. Right? And man, if you're looking to cover all these summaries with a short period of time, so make sure you get access to the notes by My Professor Note. These are to the point notes, completely exam oriented. Then we have who are the two speechless gazers in the Test of the Duber Willis. They are Reverend James Clare and Mrs. Brooks. I didn't beat around the bush and directly came on the answer. Right? Because these are the characters here and we just directly have to come on them. And besides this, we can just read the summaries and read the themes. So you can refer to the Spark Notes or lit charts to read their complete summaries, because that is very important. These are very famous works. Then we have here Efra Behin, Neoclassical Age. Rover is the play by her, 1677 published. And Rover is again a play by the John Dryden, right? Orinoco, or influenced by it. Orinoco is a novel by her, 1688, set in the Suriname, about a slave, right? So make sure you take a look at all of these novels which I have given to you Afrabehin is another British. So this is the one question we have from the British literature, right? This is again another question we have from the British literature, and all of these, most of the questions we have here we are from the Victorian age. Most of these novels are published in the Victorian age, right? And this is the fourth question we have only from the Victorian age, only from the Victorian age, and the British literature. And here we have this American, I think, in England, even though she lived in the Zimbabwe, but she was the English writer. Alice Walker, American, black American women. Margaret Atwood, Canadian, right? So this is again a world literature, first question. And then we have the Suriname, second question for the world literature, right? Indian literature, first question. Second question, Indian literature. Again, the English literature, I think it is the sixth question from the British literature. And again, this is the seventh question from the British literature. This is the fourth question from the British. This is the third question from the British literature, right? So again, McQueen, the eighth question from the British literature. I think 10th question from the British literature, right? And this is a poison tea. 11th question from the British literature. 12th question from the British literature. And the Victorian age, this is the 6th to 7th question, right? Only Victorian age, you're getting 6 to 7 questions. World literature, 2 to 3 questions, right? Then we have your Indian literature, again 3 to 4 questions. This is how these questions were being formed, and this is how you to analyze your question paper too. I hope this video is very helpful. And did I lose the spark in my voice this time? Am I feeling lazy? I don't think so. I'm very rejuvenating. And I hope you like the video. Thank you very much. Make sure you share with other people too. See you soon with another video on drama, maybe on poetry. Still in time, make sure you study really hard, keep pushing your limits. My Professor Note, signing off.